Millie, let me start with you, if I could. Following Russia's first invasion of Ukraine back in 2014, Congress stood up the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which I hope has been of some help to the Ukrainians in the lead up to this most recent invasion. I want to ask you about that, what we can draw from that with regard to Taiwan and over in PACOM. If Congress were to enact a similar funding mechanism for Taiwan, do you think that would help strengthen Taiwan's ability to defend itself against a potential invasion by China?
I do, yes.
And from a military perspective, is it fair to say that strengthening Taiwan's defenses would help bolster deterrence against China, number one, but also reduce the operational risk to American forces who might be called upon to help Taiwan in the event of an invasion?
Absolutely, yes.
This is, I agree with you, and thank you for those comments. This is why I think it's important to take that action right now and not to wait, get behind the 8 ball. I've introduced the Armed Taiwan Act, which would establish the Taiwan Security Assistance Initiative, modeled on what we did in Ukraine those years ago. And I hope the committee will take it up. I think it's an important initiative. Mr. Secretary, if I could switch to you, Secretary Austin. The Assistant Secretary for Defense, Mara Karlan, wrote prior to her confirmation, I'm going to quote her here so I get it right, that deterrence by denial should be prioritized when it comes to China and Taiwan in particular. And she went on, deterrence by cost imposition can complement but shouldn't supplant deterrence by denial when it comes to deterring China. And Assistant Secretary of Defense Eli Ratner has said something similar. He told the committee, with China as the pacing challenge, Taiwan is the pacing scenario, and that's driven by a strategy of denial. Okay, with that set up, here's my question to you. When it comes to the 2022 NDS and the NDS priorities, can you, and I'm aware we're in an unclassified setting here, but can you tell us that we will see in the unclassified summary of the NDS a commitment to deterrence by denial, especially when it comes to China and Taiwan?
Our defense strategy accounts for the things that you just highlighted, Senator, which is why both of my assistant secretaries have highlighted that. But yeah, that's in the strategy, and we'll make sure that our unclassified version of the strategy appropriately reflects what's in the strategy.
Good. So just to make sure I understand, when you say it's in the strategy, you mean
it's accounted for in the strategy.
Deterring by denial, deterrence by denial when it comes to China and Taiwan is in the strategy. Have I got that right?
That's right. And then I can entertain your other questions in the classified setting.
Great. But just fair enough. But just to close the loop on this, you said we would see that reflected in the unclassified summary when that's made available.
What I said was you'll see the unclassified summary reflect what's in the classified summary.
Okay.
We need to be mindful of what's transportable, what we can move to the unclassified session.
Okay. Good. Just staying on this theme here. Assistant Secretary Ratner has also testified that Taiwan is the pacing scenario. I think you've testified to that effect, Mr. Secretary. I know that General Milley has.
I said that China was a pacing challenge.
Okay, great. I think General Milley has said that the Taiwan scenario, the fait accompli scenario, is the pacing scenario. If I'm wrong about that, General, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You correct me. I know that Dr. Ratner has, so let's stick on that.
I've said it before.
Go ahead, General.
No, I've said that before, and that's the scenario. That's one of the scenarios that we use for force development and so on and so forth. But
thank you.
It is clearly the most important.
Thank you. So here is my question then to you, Mr. Secretary. Will we see that the Taiwan scenario, the danger of a fait accompli? Will we see that in the unclassified summary of the 2022 NDS?
Again, I'll just say that the unclassified summary will reflect what's in the National Defense Strategy. In terms of specific wording, I won't commit to a specific wording at this point. So.
Could I get you to commit to this? Would you echo what General Milley just said, and that I assume your assistant secretaries reflect your views, but
that's exactly right. They do.
Okay, and so could you tell me in your own words, though, Mr. Secretary? I mean, let me ask you this way. I don't want to put the words in your mouth, so let me ask you: is it your view that the Taiwan fait accompli scenario is the pacing scenario, just as China is the pacing threat. Is that fair to say?
It is a pacing scenario, and I would say that our China policy has not changed.
My time has expired. I'll have a few more follow-up questions, and hopefully also in the classified setting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hawley. Senator Peters, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. I understand that as part of the U.S. deterrence measures up to and after the invasion of Ukraine, there are now 3 U.S. armored brigades forward deployed in Europe. That's the most since